presents High School Soccer. Today it's the Catholic League Championship game, Chaminade versus St. John the Baptist. Today's game is sponsored by the Long Island Lighting Company, Adelphi University, Genovese Drug Stores, and St. John's University. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bob Pizzamenti, and the man to my right is brother Gary Gaynor. He'll be joining me today in the broadcasting booth. Before we get to the start of the game, we're going to talk with the coaches briefly. The gentleman to my left is a recognizable face on the Long Island Sports Network, Ken Germano. Today you're on the bench coaching in a championship game, and today your team is riding high on emotion.
Yeah, Bob, emotion you could call it. I like to think of it more as intensity. I think it's essential for soccer players to maintain intensity. There are no timeouts, and with 80 minutes you've got to maintain a high level to keep in the game.
There was a point this week where you weren't sure you were going to have your whole team. A few of your players were suspended. Could you tell us the story quickly?
Well, we decided to take a college visit to Fordham. The boys were under the impression that they had the whole day off and went out for breakfast. They should have gone to school and left at noontime. Instead, they went to breakfast. When the school officials found out, they suspended the players immediately. It took Thursday, Friday, deliberating with the school officials, and we saw both sides of the story. The boys realized their mistake, and we lifted the suspension, so the team is complete, and thank goodness for that.
Good luck today, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
We'll be back with brother Gary Gaynor and the coach from St. John's when we return with more right after this. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
In an electrical emergency, the right information can save your life. A downed power line on a crashed car can be deadly to both victims and bystanders. So if you're inside the car, stay there. If you're outside, don't touch the car because contacting both the car and the ground could be fatal. Call the fire department and the power company. They're trained to handle the emergency. Treat electricity with respect. There are lives on the line.
NBC's young researcher, Bob Siegel, probes Washington for straight answers to tough questions. Bob's a total media person and credits his skills to Adelphi University and professors like Paul Pitkoff, an award-winning filmmaker who prepares his students to solve communications problems. The answers Bob got at Adelphi helped prepare him for his career. Maybe you'll find your answers at Adelphi, too.
And it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genovese is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore. Genovese is a real drugstore. Genovese.
Asking the important questions, man's process of education through the ages. At St. John's, this process continues today in an atmosphere designed for people interested in a university education. St. John's offers students innovative and relevant programs in the arts and sciences, business, education and human services, pharmacy and allied health professions, career-oriented programs, and the law. At St. John's, you'll learn not only how to ask the important questions, but how to get the right answers.
I'm here with Tom Buklis, coach of St. John the Baptist soccer team. Tom, I know in your 14 years coaching at St. John's, you've prepared for many championship games. Is there anything particularly different about this game than games that you've played in the past?
Well, I think the field conditions here are rather difficult to play on for the style of play that we use. The short passing will be a problem. The cross-field passing will be a problem. I think we'll be forced into playing a longer ball today, more in the way Chaminade does. They play it very effectively, and they've been successful with it all season long, so it should be an interesting matchup.
Tom, I know that you're interested in playing the slow build-up game. Are you saying now that you will be forced into playing the ball quicker and playing the ball longer?
It depends on the pressure that they exert. I think being a small field and being kind of bumpy in spots is going to cause us a problem. If they give us the space, we'll use it. If not, we'll have to be playing a longer pass today.
Do you have any particular strategy for the game today that you haven't been using all season?
Yeah, I'd like the forwards to score for a change.
Don't we all?
I think that's it, and the set plays, I think, will be a big factor also.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back with the start of today's game when we return with more right after this. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
When it comes to electricity, safety is the name of the game. Power lines and cables are not playthings, and this kind of prank can have fatal consequences. Crucial power to hospitals and other vital community services could be cut off. And suppose this line fell on a metal fence. Remember, don't play around with electricity. There are lives on the line.
You're back, and welcome to the championship game today between Chaminade and St. John the Baptist. And Brother Gary, this is a very exciting game, and it's being played at your school, St. Anthony's, where you were eliminated in the semifinals.
That's right, Bob. It's going to be a very exciting game. I hadn't anticipated being here today. I anticipated being down there, but unfortunately that's not the way it worked out. But we have two top-notch teams, one from Nassau County, one from Suffolk County, and I think it's going to make for a very, very exciting ball game.
And there's a look at Chaminade as they will be riding on emotion, as we talked about earlier in the game with Coach Ken Germano in his first season. These two teams met twice during the regular season. Way back on September 17th at St. John's, they played a 0-0 tie, and then at Chaminade on October the 15th, a 3-2 victory for St. John the Baptist. And what kind of an effect is that going to have on the game today, Brother Gary, the fact that these two teams have played before?
Well, I think they know each other's style of play, and I think they're both coming out looking for a championship. As you mentioned, Ken, this is Ken's first year at Chaminade, and he's got this team up. They're at a point right now where they believe that they can beat anybody you put out on the field with them. St. John's, on the other hand, plays a much more controlled game, a less emotional game, and you could be looking for St. John's to bring the ball up the field slowly and to watch their plays build up. Chaminade, on the other hand, you can look for explosive play. As soon as they get to the ball, they'll move it quickly downfield, probably to the right-hand side. So these are a couple of things that we can be expecting.
What about the field conditions? You're very familiar with this pitch, and what about it?
Well, the field conditions are that the field is not as wide as I would personally like it, and certainly not as wide as Tommy Buchlas would like it, because with this slow build-up game, he needs a wider field in order to pass that ball, to get it outside.
Okay, now let's take a time here for our national anthem. Okay, this is it. They're playing for the championship, 2 40-minute halves, and they will be playing here on a field. And why don't you identify the lines, Brother Gary, because some of our viewers at home may be a bit confused by the football lines.
Okay, here at C.J. Donnelly Field, this field is used for 3 varsity sports. It's used for football, it's used for soccer, and it's used for lacrosse. And the white lines are the football lines, the yellow lines are the soccer lines. The yellow lines extend further than the white lines, football lines, because I tried to extend the field and make it as wide as possible. The field's about 58, 59 yards wide.
Okay, and as we talked about in the pregame, that is going to be to Chaminade's favor. In goal for St. John's will be Jason Casani, a junior. And in goal for Chaminade will be Tim Donahue, a junior, who played in 17 games this year and had a 1.10 goals against average. There are the officials, Brother Gary.
Ah, yes. I recognize specifically Don Vallone, who is a Suffolk County Section 8 official, And I think that's Joe Fasano. No, I think that is. Yes, Joseph Fasano, who is a Nassau County official.
Okay, we're ready to kick. It'll be St. John the Baptist in the white with the red numerals and red trim. In the red uniforms, of course, Chaminade with the yellow numerals. They'll be defending the goal to your right and moving, of course, from right to left. We're about ready now for the opening kickoff. And it's going to be for the championship. One game. Should we be tied at the end, there will be overtime periods, but we'll confront that problem should it arise.
I think you can expect both teams to be playing a basic 4-3-3 formation. Chaminade will possibly use a double stopper, putting one man on a particular player on the St. John's team.
Okay, getting ready for the kick, Frank Carruthers, who of course is the big name on St. John the Baptist. What about Frank?
Well, Frank is a ball player that you have to respect. He'll come at you. He's a skilled ball player, and he can help set up the plays for St. John's.
He's the captain of the team. He had 5 goals during the regular season, and as you can see now, they're putting out a few cones on the field. That's just to help the players be able to judge where that touch line is. So should the ball go into touch, it is more identifiable both for the referee, the linesman, and the players themselves, as well as you viewers at home. And you can see the players there getting ready. There's Carruthers, number 5. You can see him getting ready for the kickoff. It is windy, but not as windy as we had anticipated.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get any windier, because that would have an effect on the ball game. And I think it would be detrimental to the St. John's team.
All right, we're underway here as St. John the Baptist has the ball, sending it across the midfield line, but it'll roll into touch. We'll have a throw-in. So right off the bat, trying to send the long ball. Here's the throw-in now for Chaminade as they control, playing the right wing. Number 8 is Paul Berenier, and he loses the ball. Here's a long cross into the box, comes way out of the box and comes to the near touch line. Chasing it down, a good tackle there. The play made by Dan Federico, a senior who had 17 goals this year. Chaminade still trying to apply the pressure, but St. John's calmly getting the ball out of their end of the field across the midfield line. Number 19, Rich Pace, his brother also on this team. And the ball's still loose. Nobody really controlling the play as of yet. A lot of loose balls and possession changing hands.
Well, you know, in soccer, it takes 5 or possibly 10 minutes even just to get used to the flow of the game. And I think that St. John's at the moment is playing a much more frantic game than is their style.
St. John's, of course, as we said, is changing their style of play. And I'm just wondering how much that's really going to affect a team that's playing in a championship game that their own coach said possibly they got here and maybe they're not the best team to be here. Is it going to hurt them?
Well, they are an excellent team, and I think that they have the makings of a team that when they come back next year, they'll be even better. I certainly think that quality-wise, they're as good as anybody you meet. I think that they're thrown off a little bit by the style of play of Chaminade. Chaminade is playing a very fast game. They're playing a very intense game, and they're really up for the game. And I think that St. John's is looking more for a slower type game where they can build up in midfield.
Jim McKenna, number 9, sends a ball into the midfield. Dummied through, and it goes to St. John's on the intercept. A good idea, but it didn't work. Number 23, Chris Pace out there now, and the ball in the center circle. It's taken down by John Cole, a defender. He's a junior, number 13, with the left foot ahead. Ball goes high in the air, and we've got a whistle.
Now you'll see that there will be a number of throw-ins because of the width of the field.
All right, we've got a free kick coming up here. It will be taken by John Earhart. His cousin Bill played for Adelphi. Bill's brother is on St. John's. We'll talk more about that later. Here's a header in the box, and it's picked up by the keeper. Good aggressive play by Jason Kisani.
Kisani came out not too soon on that one. He came out just in time. But that's the style of play that you'll see from Chaminade. The long ball, they'll try to go cross field when they can. But basically, they'll be playing that long ball.
Playing the ball in the air, Keith Bias, number 4, sends it back, and again, the ball goes into touch. We'll have a throw-in on the far side. There is the throw-in. St. John's again heads it to the middle of the field. No clear-cut possession. Number 7, Danny Mueller. He's the man that makes this team go. Little Danny, he's small, but he's got 22 assists.
Danny seems like he's been around forever. He's been around for 3 years. He's got another year to go.
He is a candidate for the most valuable player. Number 7. Saw Danny last night. He was a little bit nervous, but he was ready to go. Here's a ball in the box. It's a foot race. Getting to it first, Chaminade. Here's a cross. Goes through. They'll have a shot and a goal! Beautiful goal by Chaminade, and I believe it's John Cole, number 13, that'll get credit for the goal. A beautiful setup, and Chaminade has the early 1-0 lead. Here comes the replay, Gary.
Well, as you'll notice that Paneri takes that ball down on the left-hand side, brings it down as far as he can, and then he brings it right back in front of the goal mouth. Here's where you see the score. There's a man wide open there. Nobody had him covered. That's the type of play that you would ordinarily see St. John's play on you, but Chaminade is coming up. They're playing good ball, and they're playing inspired ball. I didn't expect either team to score this early in the game, to tell you the truth.
Jim McKenna was number 9. He's got to get credit for setting that up. He got the ball in the area, had the left-footed cross right on the mark, and Chaminade has that 1-0 lead. And I'll tell you, when you get the first goal in a championship game, you got to relax a lot and feel more comfortable. Here's St. John's back the other way as they try to get right back on the board. Their shot is deflected. It comes to Tom Riley, number 12. Check that. That's P.J. Maloney, number 12. We had 2 number 12s on our roster. It's P.J. Maloney. Ball tackled into touch by John Jacobak, the defender.
I think the ball was out of bounds before the tackle. It'll be Chaminade ball.
Okay, the throw-in coming up. It'll be Jacobak to take the throw-in, number 14. The keeper coming out to help out. There's Mueller, but Mueller loses it into touch. So again, it'll be a throw-in coming up for St. John.
Believe it or not, I think that score has relaxed the St. John's team. They seem to be playing they seem to be playing better. Their passes seem to be more accurate. Maybe they, having drawn first blood on them now, they're ready to play a soccer game.
Brian Bennett on the throw-in in the area, but it's cleared away nicely by Chaminade. Now back in the area, and in turn again, Jacobak kicks it out of the area. Ball loose in midfield. That goal for Chaminade to make it 1-0 was Cole from McKenna at the 3-minute mark. So it only took them 3 minutes to put the ball in the net. And now we've got a
dangerous play.
Yes.
A high kick. St. John's will have.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back with more. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
When it comes to electricity, safety is the name of the game. Power lines and cables are not playthings, and this kind of prank can have fatal consequences. Crucial power to hospitals and other vital community services could be cut off. And suppose this line fell on a metal fence. Remember, don't play around with electricity. There are lives on the line.
You are back here in the championship game of the high school Chaminade versus St. John the Baptist on the Long Island Sports Network. The ball loose in midfield. That goal for Cole. He had only had 1 goal and 2 assists all year long, and he gets a goal tonight, and it's certainly picking your time. Saving it for the big game. Here's a free kick now. It'll be taken just outside the center circle, and that's one of the largest center circles I've ever seen, Brother Gary.
Well, it's supposed to be 10 yards in diameter. It might be a little bit larger.
I think it might be too. McKenna sends a ball to the far side as he switches play to that side of the field, but again, it goes into touch. And there we see it again early in the game. A lot of balls going into touch, as you said they would, with this narrow field. Here's a ball in the area, tackled away nicely, but St. John's still controlling it. That's Carruthers, number 5, and now the ball goes into touch again, and it'll be Chaminade's ball. John Cole there, number 13, retrieving it way out in the background. There he is. John's got to be very happy right there. He scored the first goal after only getting 1 during the season. You know, Chaminade had a dinner last night where all their players got together to get their heads set for this game, and John was one of the men that we talked to, and he was very loose and said to make sure we mentioned his name, and he took care of that by putting the ball in the net.
Well, if you're not going to score much, this is the time of the year to do the scoring.
Okay, we're waiting for the ball now to be put back into play. Here's the kick. Headed. And there's Mueller. Mueller sends the ball to the far side, chasing it down. Chaminade trying to set something up. Russ Baker. And it goes out of play.
Chaminade throwing.
That's number 16 on the throw-in, John Scalaferi. Mueller tries to get it away, and he does. Helps out John Cole, and now the ball goes out to midfield. Chasing it down for Chaminade. John Earhart sends it back ahead for Cole. Here's a ball in the area. Again, McKenna chases, and it's knocked away. And I'll tell you what, Dan Federico was right there. Had there been any error at all by Jason Casani, he was waiting to put it in.
Well, you can expect Chaminade to be making that move all day long. They'll bring that ball right down to the right-hand side. Then they'll cross it in front if possible.
P.J. Maloney was involved in that play in the mid-center circle there, but the ball again into touch. Chaminade bench on the far side. You see it there in the red. St. John's on the near side. Cole, Mueller again. Let's watch him. Mueller's the one to watch. Watch the way he distributes the ball, the passing. In any soccer game, the midfielder is always the man to make it go, and that's him, Mueller, with a good ball to the far side, but St. John breaks it up. Now Cole again. Headed away. Ball loose. Keith Bias is there for. Bias waiting for it to come down. He wins the ball over Mueller. And again, it comes down to P.J. Maloney. McKenna. Mueller.
Chaminade is making some nice combination passes, especially in midfield. St. John's right now is not moving off the ball. As you see, there was a pass made in the midfield. Nobody was coming on to the ball. If they're going to get back into this ball game, they are going to have to move off the ball.
Okay, we're waiting for that throw in now for St. John's. They trail 1-0. If you're just joining us, you're watching the high school championship game here on the Long Island Sports Network. Midfield. Ball sent in by Earhart, high in the air, and we've got a whistle. We've got a foul, climbing the ladder. We'll go the other way. St. John's put it in play, and number 18, Willie McDermott, will be the man to put it in play first. What do you look for here, Brother Gary? Are they going to try to get some crosses in the area, maybe get a break? And
well, ordinarily, I would look for St. John's to pass that ball in midfield, have somebody cut in. They've gone right down the right-hand side now, but Chaminade's back there to defend. Already, Chaminade has forced St. John's into their style of play.
Brian Bennett, 24. Willie McDermott. Here's a break now for St. John's. Who's going to get to it first? It's the keeper, Donahue, who is yet to really make a save. Mike Casani has had 2 saves. One has gone in the net.
Chaminade is already forcing St. John's into a long ball game, and they're forcing him to bring the ball into the air. St. John's works much better on the ground, but you'll see there's an awful lot of high balls, a lot of people going up for headers.
Mueller trying to get that loose ball. He couldn't do it, and finally it was pushed ahead. Chaminade keeping on the pressure. They are marking very tightly and doing a good job. St. John's trying to get something going here to get back in this game. Down by a goal, they lose it into touch. And we're going to break here. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
You have the need to know about the prescription drugs you take, and Genovese drugstores have the desire to tell you. That's why you'll find this prescription information book in every Genovese store, filled with details on medications prescribed most. It tells in simple language what each drug is for, possible side effects, and much more. Genovese is the first drug chain to offer this information because you have the need to know, and we have the desire to tell you. Genovese, this is a drugstore, a real drugstore.
You are back, and we have a 1-0 game with Chaminade on top of St. John the Baptist in the championship game here at St. Anthony's in Smithtown, Long Island. Here's Mueller following it in the center circle.
Well, it was a typical St. John's play. They crossed the field from right to left, and then they tried to get it back from left to right, but they were not accurate with their long passes.
There's the score. You saw 1-0. St. John's gives it away. That's McKenna. He's been a tough man all day long on that side of the field. Now he brings it back. Tried to do an in-swing kick with the right foot. Here's Mueller looking for McKenna again, but he was offside. A good idea. Very aggressive play offensively by Chaminade.
Chaminade is very aggressive. They've been aggressive all season. They are really playing as well as you can expect them to play, and they're going to go at you for a full 80 minutes. They will not let down. They'll be going the same way at the end of the game.
Okay, we've got a free kick now coming up after the offside. Tom Buklas, who's the head coach of St. John the Baptist, one of the most successful coaches on this level as we watch the ball roll into touch. He has 4 times been Coach of the Year in 1976, 77, 78, and 80. And we'll talk more about Coach Buklas when we get the time. Very successful young coach. We talked with him earlier. And we're going to have a whistle and the ball put back in play at midfield. St. John's tries to capitalize, and of course, in soccer, whenever you get that advantage of the whistle and the continuation play, you want to get the ball back into play as quickly as you can.
Looked like there was a handball on that one, Bob.
There's Buchlas. What a great career he's had here at St. John's. 141 wins, 27 losses, and 18 ties.
And recently married.
25 minutes left, first half, 1-0, Chaminade leading. Ball headed back in the circle. That's Carruthers looking on the give and go. Pace, number 19, tackled off the ball. And that's Carruthers. He's tackled down very hard. That was a flagrant foul. Carruthers looking up, but he got the ball, and that's what he wanted.
You can expect him to chip it over to the left-hand side, have somebody coming in on goal, coming in on the far post.
Look for 23, Chris Pace. He's over there on the far side. It could be him, or it could be his brother Rich. Let's see what happens. Rich on the near side. Here's a chip in the
right
box,
up the middle.
looking for Carruthers, but right with him to tackle it away was number 8, Paul Bernier. Here's the ball now, back in the area. Cole, number 13, and we've got a whistle, a foul against St. John's. St. John's has yet to get a shot on goal. Can't score much when you don't do that. There's Ken Germano. He's the head coach at Chaminade, former coach at Hofstra, and also color commentator here on the Long Island Sports Network. Today, taking a seat on the bench to coach his team in the championship game.
Ken seems very relaxed at this point.
Ken's always relaxed. Us broadcasters don't get excited over these games.
Oh, I've seen Ken get excited on occasion.
There's a ball on the far side of the field. St. John's will get the ball on the throw-in. So again, they've got to mount some kind of an attack here and start getting some shots on goal. Build up their confidence offensively. Pace, number 23. And that, of course, is Chris, sophomore.
This is the type of combination play that you're used to seeing St. John's play. They bring the ball back. They have somebody breaking through. Unfortunately, they're just a little bit too far.
And again, just as you were saying, a little bit too far, and that's just what they were. Bob Cullen, number 6, was there to push it back to the keeper. Now the keeper. That's Tim Donahue. Tim had a super year for Chaminade. And again, into touch, so it'll go back to St. John the Baptist. There's a look at the bench. St. John's, they look pretty loose. And
well, St. John's has gone into a number of championship games, so this is not anything new to them. They also know that it's early in the first half, that if they do put their passing together, they have a good shot at taking this game. On the other half, you cannot expect Chaminade to let up for 1 minute. They're going to be going at you as they have been all season.
Should the score remain the same at halftime, Brother Gary, would there be anything that you would see to change in the style of play for St. John's that maybe would help them against this attack of Chaminade?
Well, I would think that they would go to a shorter pass, and I think that they have to relax a little bit more and play their game instead of going out and playing Chaminade's game. They're basically playing into Chaminade's hands at the moment.
And they certainly are certainly capable, I should say, of putting the ball in the net. Keith Bias had 7 goals for St. John's. Willie McDermott had 6. So they were able to, of course, Frank Carruthers with 5. So they are certainly more than able to put the ball in the net, but they've yet to do so. Now the ball loose in midfield. Chasing it down to Chaminade. They'll get the ball in the throw-in. Now here's where you want to hustle down the field and get that ball in play. Hopefully you'll catch the other team standing around. Cole will take the throw-in, 13. He's got the only goal. Tries to throw it in. It's intercepted beautifully by St. John's, and here's Pace. And a collision there. It's going to go against Chaminade, so St. John's will continue on.
Little jumping in there.
Chaminade has mustered 2 shots on goal so far. One of them has gone in. Here's Mueller. Watch him. 22 assists, 5 goals for that little man. And they compare him to a man who was drafted in the 2nd round of the professional draft. I'll get back to that in a second. Here's a ball through the area, but it's just a little bit too far for McKenna. And it will go out of play over the back line. It'll be a goal kick, unless it was touch going through, and that may be what the referee is signaling here. We may see a corner kick.
That certainly is what he's signaling, Bob. But you'll notice if the ball comes down to the other end of the field, how quickly the Chaminade defense will have